the hyperbole surrounding and coming out of the so-called climate summit in Glasgow, Scotland, which I think is now concluded, to me, it's representative or indicative of madness, a mass insanity. I really believe that. And they know what they're doing. They know they're selling it with this hyperbole because they're desperate. World leaders turned up. This is the always reliable Seth Borenstein from the AP. World leaders turned up the heat and resorted to end of the world rhetoric Monday in an attempt to bring new urgency to sputtering international climate negotiations. The metaphors were dramatic and mixed at the start of the talks known as COP26. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson described global warming as a doomsday device strapped to humanity. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres told his colleagues that humans are digging their own graves. In Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Mottley, speaking for vulnerable island nations, added moral thunder, warning leaders not to allow the path of greed and selfishness to sow the seeds of our common destruction. Amid the speeches, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said his coal-dependent country will aim to stop adding greenhouse gases to the atmosphere by 2070. So the rest of us, we're given 10 years. India gets 50.
Yeah.
India gets 50.
Is that like a time zone
China's
thing?
not participating. Russia's not participating.
Okay.
But we have, if we don't do anything within 10 years, we're all going to melt and die. And but India gets to 2070.
Minneapolis might not make it that long.
It's just.
I wasn't sorry I wasn't able to join you yesterday. Did you talk about the map where the Rocky Mountains are underwater?
I didn't see that
one.
one.
No, come on.
No, guys, the whole West Coast, including the Rocky Mountains, are underwater. So if you want to buy very potentially expensive seaside land, I think Dakotas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. North, south, eastern Montana, eastern Wyoming. Whoa, you'll
Start
be sitting
investing
pretty.
now, yeah.
Yeah, you'll be sitting pretty.
Well, we've been sold this.
Did you find it, Chris? Isn't that funny?
I gotta post this.
We've
people
been
are
sold this
insane.
BS now going on about 30 years, and will continue to be sold. It's Seth Borenstein has another piece in the Pioneer Press. Fires raged, rivers flooded, ice melted, droughts baked, storms brewed, temperatures soared, and people died. Climate change in 2021 reshaped life on the planet Earth.
So funny. I'm sorry.
World leaders are gathering in Scotland to try to accelerate the fight to curb climate change. So far, it's not working. As the world keeps getting hotter, no, it's not, and its weather more extreme. No, but people are in harm's way more than they've ever been before. There have been deadly floods in Belgium, Germany, China, and Tennessee, where apparently there's never previously been a flood. Fire blazed in parts of the U.S. West, Greece, and even the Arctic. Fires in California have been common to that geography for 10,000 years.
On this map that Kenny was talking about, by the way, the Great Lakes just essentially become one Great Lake through the middle of the country.
She's a big one.
Ooh,
She
you
is
could,
a big
Kenny,
one.
Iowa, northern Iowa, boy, you can get some nice oceanside property there.
Yeah.
A report from AIR Worldwide, a global risk modeling firm, estimates that now each year extreme weather is costing $320 billion around the world, with only about a third of it insured. Well, in other words, a way you could look at that is that what you believe to be climate change is good for the economy. It's good for the construction industry. Because that's $320 billion because people live in places where there's danger.
I got a question.
Yeah.
About the logistics of the old water map here. So
Who's creating this?
I guess I don't know. This was retweeted by a guy that has 63 followers, so I'm going to guess it wasn't him.
I don't follow. I don't think that should even be discussed then.
No, it's just funny.
But it's some anonymous fruitcake.
But there are people that believe it, Joe. This thing has 250,000 likes.
Yeah.
But here's I guess what I'm trying to get at. So hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. So you mean to tell me, check this out.
Check this out.
You mean to tell me the Rocky Mountains are going to be underwater, but a place like Iowa, which is as flat as can be, that's good.
That'll be okay.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arkansas is toast, by the way. So
This country's going to become pretty good for water skiing.
Oh, yeah.
You can water ski to Omaha and back.
Would Lake City have to drop the water skiing capital of the world?
Probably.
Oh, boy.
I mean, really, Joe, the guy with 63 followers has just as much credibility in my mind as the climate pleasers.
good
No
point.
more time.
Right.
You know, in my mind, it's the same credibility factor.
This is a madness to me, and it's a desperate and greedy attempt by the world's elites to cement their positions on Earth and to remain wealthy as they all got back in their private jets and flew to their mansions. This has nothing to do with the temperature of the Earth. This has nothing to do with a flood or a hurricane. This has nothing to do with any of that. This is a complete reordering of, well, you heard Prince Charles. We need a military-style takeover of the climate. Did I have an email on that? Let me see if I did.
John, by the way, your Dakotas are in a lot of trouble here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
They going under?
Basically, half of South Dakota is wiped out, so they might just have to rename it Dakota.
Patrick in Anchorage, Alaska, writes, "Hail the Flashlight King.
Hail
you.
On yesterday's show, you played a clip of Prince Charles stating we needed a military-style response to climate change. This phrase has been tossed around before by those wishing to see dramatic changes in short order. Democrats want a military-style response to the Green New Deal or COVID. The military achieves these things because, A, the chain of command is strict and orders are followed, largely without question. Troops do what they are told, even if it doesn't always make sense. Those who wish to transform the world economy in the guise of climate change would love nothing more than for populations to follow their orders without protest. B, when tasked with an objective, the military is focused solely on that objective. It means picking up and moving thousands of personnel and materials, so be it, as long as the objective is met. Now, the optimist in me wants the phrase to be used ignorantly and at face value. It's a good PR tagline. Perhaps it really does come down to a marketing ploy. Climate change is a business. They just want the hysteria heightened so that they can justify their massive budgets and re-elections, each term coming with six-figure incomes for themselves and all their friends, or drive ticket sales at Climate Change Arena. There should be a new version of Hanlon's razor. Call it Bezos's razor. Never assume sole ideological motive when proportional money is at stake. Pushing back from inside the failed academy, Patrick Gooden from Anchorage, Alaska.
So, ladies and gentlemen, my plea today is for countries to come together to create the environment that enables every sector of industry to take the action required. We know this will take trillions, not billions of dollars. We also know that countries, many of whom are burdened by growing levels of debt, simply cannot afford to go green. Here we need a vast military-style campaign to marshal the strength of the global private sector. With trillions at its disposal, far beyond global GDP, and with the greatest respect, beyond even the governments of the world's leaders, it offers the only real prospect of achieving fundamental economic transition.
I still wonder who the his is.
Yeah, I was trying to listen for it
With
this
trillions
time.
I thought
At
maybe he
his
said
disposal.
its disposal, but he clearly said his. With trillions at his disposal. Who's the his?
I don't know if he was referencing a specific country that wasn't
Is
participating.
it Al Gore or our other guy who's John Kerry fighting and duking it out with
We don't need to hear
climate change?
Terry.
You don't want to hear him
No, I
again
don't
today?
want to hear
Okay.
Terry.
So you said something just off the cuff, Such, that caught my ear. The always available Seth Bornstein. And
Right.
you cited a couple of pieces, and I started thinking, well, how does some just ding-a-ling reporter benefit from reporting climate change stuff? Well, as it turns out, that is his sole duty, is reporting climate change. His biography, as he covers science on a national and international basis, reporting to New York headquarters, writing enterprise and breaking science stories, responsible for coverage in 3 science journals. Here's what he covers: climate change, disasters, BP oil spill, NASA, NOAA, astronomy, earth sciences, and it goes on and on and on. So Seth is profiting from climate change by writing about climate change.
But it all suggests to me a madness, an insanity. It really does. This
Wait a
this
minute.
false belief that man, humans, people, you can't make a snowflake. You can't make a drop of rain. You can't make it windy.
Is it madness or is it brilliance because they're making money from it?
But it will be madness for those of us who will be impoverished by it.
Yeah. They're definitely spreading the madness.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with fixing anything because that's an impossible task.
Right.
It's an impossible task. And what needs fixing? I mean, I'm sorry people lost their homes in those California wildfires, but I don't think enough time has been spent on worrying about preventing those kinds of fires.
Think about it. If the rest of the world, save for Russia, China, and India, the rest of the world did everything they could possibly do, it's completely negated by Russia, China, and India, correct?
It's negated by a couple of volcanoes spewing.
Oh my God, it's so much more easier. You're right. It's negated by something from outer space hitting the Earth.
Well, Kenny, isn't it when the volcano erupts? Aren't you driving straight towards it? Wasn't that your theory?
Yeah, I mean, when I hear tell that Yellowstone's going, hell, I'm not loading up anything. I'm just getting in and going. I'm
You're gonna
pouring
fill up a tank.
I'm
yes.
breaking the glass and smoking Luckies.
Oh, I'll smoke all the way there.
Boulders the size of Alfa Romeo Stelvios will be landing on my roof.
Believe me, Such, I'm smoking everything in sight
Me too.
all the way to ground zero.
I